the Cinema Gold Show. I'm your host, Larry Lease. On today's episode of Netflix Roulette, we dive into Gunpowder Milkshake and give our thoughts and opinions on this movie. But first, we'd like to thank our sponsor, Audible, for sponsoring this episode. If you're interested in a free 3-month trial and a free audiobook of your choice, head on over to audibletrial.com/Larry21. Without further ado, let's dive right in. With an abundance of style and a deficit of substance, Gunpowder Milkshake features an impressive lineup of stars, ones who you really want to watch kick a ton of ass, but waste them with a regrettably empty project that lands with a muddled thud. A comic book movie that's not based on a comic book. Gunpowder Milkshake presents us with a hyper-stylized bumble world of shadowy moneymen, female assassins, and an endless supply of disposable thugs, and a lone library that's meant to supply and train members of the Sisterhood. Greats Angela Bassett, Michelle Yeoh, and Carla Gugino, apologies for butchering these names, play the stewards of the library, while MCU's Karen Gillan plays a lone killer being targeted by, the very organization she works for. Karen Sam is the daughter of Lena Headey's Scarlet, a hit woman who was forced to run out on her little girl 15 years earlier. Now Sam must reunite with Scarlet and join forces with the Sisterhood in order to take down the Firm. It sounds more fun than it is. Despite the neon-colored sets and an attempt at a noirish, pulpy production design, Gunpowder Milkshake is dragged down by DOA dialogue, road action sequences, and just an overall lifelessness. As mentioned, it's assembled an awesome on-paper award-winning cast, including Paul Giamatti, and then gives them clinically dry lines to say and tedious roles to portray, as if their mere presence was supposed to be good enough. And sure, the hitman running from their own boss story isn't new. That doesn't mean it can't be done in a fun and fresh way. Gunpowder Milkshake dresses up this time-honored tale with hot pinks and retro diners, and a cutesy malt shop aesthetic, but that's all it is. Sugar-coated sheen. The rest is a tonal mess that at its best is quirky cool, and at its worst is bland and boring. In an attempt to display its own unique landscape, like a Sin City or a Kill Bill, or even other decent Tarantino Rodriguez copycats, Gunpowder Milkshake creates an interesting snow globe, then can't quite manifest the rest. It wants to employ Tarantino's use of contrapuntal soundtrack, but it doesn't work. It wants its stars Sam to be a cosplay-ready heroine with her bowling jacket and a gun tightly taped to her hand, but it feels forced, and there's really no attempt to have any of the characters be funny or interesting. To give the story a touch of heart, Chloe Coleman enters as Emily, a young girl who Sam must protect while also fending off her own company's crazed, screaming goons. Gillan Sam is an effectively hard nut to crack, so it makes sense that she be given a young ward. But then everyone else in the story is also a gruff, steely badass, so it makes Sam feel less special by comparison. Only Carla Gugino's gets to sneak in some personality, embodying a polite and kind front-facing, bespectacled librarian of the Sisterhood. While everyone else is just being tough, she's allowed to present a small amount of warmth and, in a way, humor. Another failing element here is the fact that Sam is being marked for death because she killed the wrong person on a mission given to her by her bosses. No, not an innocent bystander or some type of collateral damage. Sam's target was the son of a mob boss, and her employers simply made a mistake. It's even repeated over and over that she was just doing her job like normal, but leading to this strange plot marker doesn't help it make sense. Sam being betrayed like this undercuts just about everything. It makes it seem very matter-of-fact, as if she could have just been dumped by the Firm at any point over the past 15 years for literally no reason. In turn, all the action that follows resonates as hollow because it's like the movie barely searched for a reason for mass bloodshed and gun-fu theatrics. Gunpowder Milkshake finds a window of life in the middle during a hospital fight between Sam and 3 thugs, dubbed the Boneheads, where her arms are rendered useless and she has to tape a gun to one hand and a scalpel to the other, and use young Emily as an assistant. It's a touch overly choreographed, but it's also the closest the film gets to feeling eccentric on its own terms. Most of the movie's big action is saved for the end when all the women can join together, but this bit of lunacy was the better showing. The second act run with Emily also made it seem like there was a different style of story forming. Sadly, there wasn't, and Emily is quietly shuffled back into the deck for the third act. So before we give you our verdict, let us know your thoughts in the comment section below. Did you watch the movie? If you have, let us know your thoughts. But without further ado, Gunpowder Milkshake does its formidable cast dirty with a bland script, recycled story, and an empty comic book style that does little but shine up a stale outing. At the time, there are moments of loony action that give the illusion of life, particularly in the second act. But the bulk of this shoot 'em up is dull and unengaging. It's flashy and loud, and it can't seem to find itself beyond these superficial elements. And that is our thoughts on Gunpowder Milkshake. As always, if you want to support the show, you can buy us a coffee at buymeacoffee.com/cinemagold. And give us a thumbs up if you like our video, subscribe to the channel, and hit the bell notification button to be notified when we release new videos. Which you can catch us on podcasts and on YouTube every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday. And as always, thank you so much for watching and listening. We will see you next time.